What is up, everybody? Welcome to 5 Picks in 5 Minutes from the Action Network. I am your host, Chris Raybon. I'm here with Grant Neiffer and Kyle Murray. For all of our picks, there's a link in the episode description that you can quickly tail and add our bets to. Grant, I think I know where you're going. It sounds kind of similar to something you were doing last week. What you got?
Yeah, I'm going with Elik Aymanor. 60 plus yards receiving. You can get this around plus 400, plus 425, depending on where you're at. And I went this last week, went down in flames, but I'm going right back to the well. He's had terrible matchups pretty much all season long, like Denver, Rams, Colts, Houston, Arizona, all tough matchups. Now he gets Las Vegas in a dome. Great spot here. Cam looked great last week. I'm expecting him to kind of zero in on Elik a little bit in this spot, and his line of 30 yards is way too low, so I'm hitting it all the way up to 60 plus 425. It's way too high for this.
Oh man, I really love you guys picks this week. Kyle, you're going to talk about one of my favorite running backs that so far hasn't had a great season. But where you go?
Yeah, it's been a brutal go for Chase Brown, but I'm taking his over 20.5 receiving yards. I actually don't mind laddering this one either. I think it's a good spot for him. Obviously, Joe Flacco going to slot in under center for the Bengals. And over the first 4 weeks when Flacco was starting for Cleveland, 34 total targets to running backs. That's 8.5 targets per game. Chase Brown is going to be pretty much the featured running back on most of these plays for the Bengals. So we could see 6, 7, 8 targets in this spot out of the backfield. Also a good matchup for the Packers, who have been a funnel for running backs out of the backfield, allowing the second most targets and receptions per game to opposing running backs. So I'm liking this spot for Chase Brown, who hasn't seen any explosiveness as a runner because that offensive line is brutal, but I do expect more efficiency and more explosive playability as a pass catcher for Chase Brown. So give me the over in his receiving yards.
Yeah, he's one of those few backs in the league who the coaches will kind of draw up multiple screenplays and things like that for him over the course of the game. I am going to go with Hassan Haskins anytime touchdown at plus 165. This is a guy who I'm sure some people aren't even really too familiar with because he's spent most of the time just being the short yardage and third down back. But in this spot, he's likely going to get the early down first crack and the goal line work. They cut Kamani Vidal in the preseason because they loved Haskins so much. So I think these are just silly odds against this pitiful Miami Dolphins run defense. I know the Chargers are a little banged up on the line, but they can still get it done here with Haskins. Grant, pick number 2. Love this as well. Tell them about it.
It's just a dude who scores every single week. Egbuka plus 135 is silly odds for a guy getting this volume. No Godwin, no Evans, no Bucky. He's going to be the go-to guy in this spot. Going up against 49ers should be a fairly high-scoring game. No Bosa in there should help out. Egbuka's going to get peppered with targets the entire time, and he's going to be used heavily in the red zone with not many other red zone threats. Plus 135, silly odds. Egbuka is probably getting a TV.
My fantasy wide receiver 3 right now. Kyle, close us out.
Yeah, we've had a lot of exciting, upside plays. So I'm going to take a running back under, get us back home here. Under 34.5 rushing yards for Isaiah Pacheco. I think he ran pretty pure last week to barely go over this number. The Chiefs got off to a 14-0 lead, obviously leading to more rush attempts for the Chiefs as a whole. He had 7 carries, got 35 rushing yards last week. That kind of efficiency is honestly a pretty good outcome for Pacheco as well, who's definitely seen his better days, gone by him since returning from that injury last year. I also think this is just a bad matchup. Obviously, Detroit is a top 3 rushing defense so far this season, but game script also a bad matchup, as I think that with the secondary of the Lions missing 2 of their top 4 secondary players, I think the Chiefs are going to turn to a pass-heavy approach here. They're already third in terms of neutral pass rate so far this season, so no reason to turn away from Patrick Mahomes here. So give me the under on Pacheco's rushing yards.
Oh man, these have to be my favorite episode. I love all these picks. For a parlay, we're gonna go with Pacheco rushing yards under. We're gonna go with Elik Aymanor 60 plus receiving yards and Hassan Haskins anytime touchdown. You can get that at plus 225. Again, check the bet slips in the episode or show description. This has been 5 Picks in 5 Minutes from the Action Network. For Grant Neiffer and Kyle Murray, I am Chris Raybon. Let's get this money.